Ravi, the court system is a major component of immigration enforcement in this country that judges say is being tossed aside in favor of expedited deportations. But since the start of his second term, President Donald Trump's administration has been firing immigration judges with years of experience. Now, two former judges are being blunt with the I-Team about what they've seen and what they now fear.
Oh my God!
Judge Jennifer Payton was the assistant chief immigration judge overseeing Chicago's immigration court for nearly 9 years.
I kept telling myself, and my husband kept saying, like, they're gonna have to fire me. I'm not quitting.
Judge Payton is still reeling after being dumped in an email over the 4th of July weekend while on vacation with her family.
There's 3 complete sentences. No reason, no cause.
Judge Payton oversaw thousands of asylum and other removal cases. Now the contents of her office are stuffed in boxes, and she's sifting through the last 6 months.
Within a couple hours of the inauguration of President Trump, 4 senior leaders, all female, were fired by email. February 14th, a group of 7 assistant chief immigration judges like myself all received emails in the afternoon firing without cause.
Why?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
No.
The upheaval has sent other immigration judges running for the exits.
There was a massive change in the tone.
Now, former Chicago immigration judge Christy Nelson said by April she couldn't take it anymore.
It was basically like we were being told that we weren't valued, that they just wanted to get rid of us.
The immigration court system is convoluted. It actually isn't a court in the traditional sense.
Boy. So we gotta talk about another story of F Around and Find Out, featuring woke activist liberal judges who have decided that their feelings and their activism is more important than their job. Okay, and that is basically leading to these federal immigration judges getting fired by the Trump administration. We talked about a story similar to this, and lo and behold, we have more stories, this time out of Chicago, involving some woke immigration judges who are crying out bigotry and hate, racism, because they're getting fired by the Trump administration. So I'm going to tell you why they're getting fired, because the news and the judges are going to pretend like they don't know why they're getting fired, but they all know why they're getting fired. Is because they're not interpreting the law properly. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
2 federal judges recently fired by the Trump administration are speaking out, and they're calling for answers as to why they were so abruptly let go.
Our CBS News Chicago investigator Megan DeMar joins us live outside immigration court with more on their stories. Megan?
Right, Joe and Marie, both judges say they were notified by email that they'd been fired effective immediately, but weren't given any explanation as to why, although both judges have their theories about why they were let go by the Attorney General.
I served almost 9 years in the Department of Justice. I cared about my job and I was good at it.
Former Assistant Chief Immigration Judge Jennifer Payton was fired by email on July 3rd.
No cause, no notice, no reason.
It came less than 2 weeks after Senator Dick Durbin paid a visit to immigration court, and Judge Payton took the time to show him the court and explain its functions. Shortly after that, she received an email from the Department of Justice saying she should not directly communicate with members of Congress.
When you're not given a reason, you lie awake at 3 in the morning wondering why.
She questions if Durbin's visit and her work on the pro bono steering committee were behind her firing.
I certainly have concerns about whether me being a female, having a Hispanic last name, whether that had something to do with my termination.
Judge Carla S.
Wow. Again, listen to them. They naming everything except what I believe is the reason why they are getting fired. Like, for example, Judge Jennifer Payton, okay, from 2019 to 2024, she granted asylum 85.5% of the cases before her. That is significantly higher than the national average, okay? When you talk about this other lady, Carla Espinoza, she granted asylum 78.4% of the time. So again, we're talking about woke judges that are allowing illegals to stay in the country, saying, yeah, your asylum claim is legit, way higher than the national average. We talked about national average being around 30 to 40%, okay, of the cases that actually get heard, okay? A vast majority of the cases are denied because a lot of them aren't even heard, okay? But if they're actually heard, you're talking about a national average of 30 to 40%, okay? Which means most of these illegals get denied, right? They get denied asylum. These judges are granting asylum at 85, 95%, right? We did a video about a woman out in San Francisco that was up in the 90%, right? 90+%. But now they're trying to pretend, oh, we don't know why we got fired. We don't know why we're losing our jobs. It's a big mystery. No, it ain't a big mystery. You're not doing your job, right? That's why you got fired. That's why you're getting fired. It ain't got nothing to do with you being Hispanic. It ain't got nothing to do with you being a woman. Well, who knows? Again, because a lot of these judges that have been fired are women. And it probably is likelier that these women are liberal, which means they're going to have higher rates of granting asylum, right? That's what they're going to do because, again, these women, they tend to think with their emotions rather than their brains and interpret the law correctly. I mean, we've seen this before.
Espinoza, who was fired on July 15th, says she specifically asked her bosses why she was fired.
And I specifically asked whether my gender or sex and my heritage had anything to do with it. I am waiting for a response.
We reached out to the Executive Office for Immigration Review for an interview or statement on the firings. A spokesperson declined my requests.
Why are certain judges being chosen and not others? It raises a serious question about whether or not this court system is going to be guided by due process or politics.
Judge Payton says there are now roughly 600 immigration judges doing the work of 700, which will only exacerbate the backlog. Both judges said they were never directed to rule a certain way, but they did receive some directives that they found concerning. For example, that
A judge shouldn't feel pressure or shouldn't have to give respondents time to respond to a motion made by the government.
Judge Payton has filed an appeal. Judge Espinoza, along with another group of recently fired judges, is considering legal action. For now, reporting live outside the Chicago Immigration Court, Megan DeMar, CBS News Chicago investigator.
Yeah, again, I love how these woke activist judges pretend like they don't know. Well, we don't know why we got fired. It's a big mystery. It could be my sex. It could be my race, my heritage. Oh, God. Right? This is what they're pretending. And it's like, no. If you look up your job rating, right? Your job performance, not good, right? Your job performance is not good. There's no way, absolutely no way that these judges should have asylum grant rates that are that generous, right? And that's the reason why they're being fired. I guarantee you. It's the reason why all these judges are being fired. Look at their asylum grant rates, right? They're not doing their jobs. They're just allowing anybody into the country, right? If you come into the country illegally and you go to one of these judges and you say, yo tengo hambre, yo tengo sed, right? I can't go back to my country. I'm fleeing asylum. I might get hurt. You don't have to provide any evidence, any proof, none of that. They're going to just say, yeah, you can stay, right? You can stay. I mean, that's basically what their job performance indicates, right? So yeah, you're gonna lose your job when you're not aligned with the agenda, right, of the President of the United States in regards to our law enforcement. Okay, it's really that simple. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.